I dig you guys.
Ahoy there.
This is Mrs. Klein.
And Mrs. Wilbren.
We got a podcast for you guys from lesson 12 sections. What was it? 4 and 5?
Okay. Yep. So guys, we're going to continue talking about foreign affairs and the young nation. And we talked a lot about it in class yesterday. And just remember that guiding question. To what extent should the United States have become involved in world affairs in the early 1800s? And vocabulary that you guys are going to be listening to in this podcast, we really want you to pay attention to, would be impressment and embargo.
Okay, right on. All right, so you guys are moving into section 4, which is all about President Jefferson's dilemma, dealing with those pirates, okay, in the Barbary Coast. All right, unfortunately, the peace that John Adams achieved with France did not last long. And in 1803, France and Great Britain were again at war. But still, like Washington and Adams before him, Jefferson tried to follow a policy of neutrality.
Yeah. And one problem was impressment. And we're going to be talking about what that means and the situation that put Jefferson into. So remaining neutral when ships were being seized was hard enough. It became even harder when Great Britain began impressing American sailors. Now, impressing is kidnapping them and forcing them to serve in the British Navy. The British claimed that the men they impressed were British deserters. This may have been true in some cases, as some sailors may well have fled the terrible conditions on British ships, but thousands of unlucky Americans were also impressed.
All right.
And one other thing, when they served in the British Navy, they served for life.
Oh, God. So, like, if you were unhappy, tough luck. That was going to be your fate.
Yep.
Okay, all right. So, no wonder there were so many people who were maybe deserting the British Navy.
Exactly.
All right. So, now Jefferson also he's got this issue that's going on with pirates, right, on the Barbary coast of Africa. So, American ships faced a different threat from the Barbary states of North Africa, piracy or robbery at sea. For years, pirates from Morocco, Algiers, Tunis, and Tripoli had preyed on merchant ships entering the Mediterranean Sea, so that they could seize the ships and hold the crews for ransom. So they're going to make some money on basically holding hostages.
Exactly. Now, Presidents Washington and Adams both paid tribute to the Barbary state rulers in exchange for the safety of American ships. And this is so ironic with the XYZ affair.
Yes.
And, not a penny for anyway.
But we were paying tribute, okay, on the down low, I suppose. Yep. All right. By the time Jefferson became president, the United States had paid the Barbary states almost $2 million. The ruler of Tripoli, however, demanded still more tribute. And to show that he was serious, he declared war on the United States.
Yeah. So what happened? How did Jefferson solve this problem? Now, as much as Thomas Jefferson hated war, he hated paying tribute more. In 1801, he sent a small fleet of warships to the Mediterranean to protect American shipping interests.
All right. During this time, one of the ships, the Philadelphia, ran aground on a hidden reef in the harbor, and the captain and crew were captured, and they were held for ransom. Rather than let the pirates have the Philadelphia, a young naval officer named Stephen Decatur led a raiding party into the heavily guarded Tripoli harbor and set the ship afire because they don't want those pirates to get hold of that ship.
Yeah. Now, after a year of U.S. attacks and a blockade, Tripoli agreed to stop demanding tribute payments. And in return, the United States paid a $60,000 ransom for the crew of the Philadelphia.
All right, which was substantially less than what they had actually demanded at the beginning, all right, of this. All right, meanwhile, Jefferson tried desperately to convince both France and Great Britain to leave American ships alone. Unfortunately, all of his diplomatic efforts failed, and between 1803 and 1807, get this, you guys, Great Britain seized at least 1,000 American ships, with France capturing about half that many.
So, I mean, there's just no safety at this on the sea.
Definitely.
Okay. When diplomacy failed, Jefferson proposed an embargo, which is a complete halt in trade with other nations. Under the Embargo Act, no foreign ships could enter U.S. ports, and no American ships could leave except to trade at other U.S. ports.
All right. So remember, we talked in class before about the U.S. trading with France, the U.S. trading with Great Britain. We had to get into the Mediterranean, so we were trading with other European nations. Thomas Jefferson is saying no more to that.
Yep.
Okay. All right. The embargo, however, proved far more painful to Americans than to anyone in Europe, and some 55,000 sailors lost their jobs. In New England, newspapers pointed out that embargo spelled backward reads, "Oh, grab me," which made sense to all who were feeling its pinch.
Yeah, Congress repealed the unpopular Embargo Act in 1809. American ships returned to the seas, and French and British warships continued to attack them.
Yikes.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. We are logging off.
Yeah. Take it easy, you all. We'll see you tomorrow.